Hello, hello. I'm late. I know I'm late. You know life's. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Hey, come on in. Come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Didn't do a thumbnail today. Life was lifing, but I got time now. I hear y'all were cutting up in the courtroom today. Just cutting up. Baby. I have a lot to tell. And those of you all that are coming in on X, please give me that heart. Hit that heart. Hey. All right. If you're coming in on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you like what you see, subscribe. And whatever it is you do on Twitch, just do it. Hey. So we're going to go over today the testimony as we've done before. Court is officially is in recess until tomorrow, but I'm understanding. Let's go over about what has gone on in the courtroom. So listen, y'all folks that was trying to get all these clicks, y'all trying to get all these views, y'all are in here doing way too much for the gram. The judge sees you, and you have been admonished. And it looks like whoever these particular YouTubers are, they are about to be banned from the courtroom. What am I talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. So we have a lot of people where we can get the information from. There are YouTubers, they are journalists. All of these people are in the courtroom and they are talking on their respective channels about the trial. Shout out to them because I go to them, I go to the journalists, and I kind of piece together everything I need to know so that I can do my recap on TikTok. Well, I'm finding out there's at least 3 of y'all that doxed the witness Mia, who was under a pseudonym. Y'all doxed her and y'all showed her on y'all's perspective YouTube channels, and you gave that information to, or because you doxed her on those specific YouTube channels, she has made her way of who she is on TikTok, on Instagram, on all of these different profiles. So the prosecution wanted to make sure that the judge understood and to admonish the people for doing that. And also, we're hearing that in the overflow room, y'all are acting like that's the after party room. Please calm down, because you all are doing a great service, but don't let this push for clicks and views get you knocked out of there and then have dire consequences for the rest of the folks. Because we do appreciate you all coming in and giving us information as you all have seen it in court. It is valuable. It is a lifeline. But don't let your pursuit for clicks and views get you kicked out of the courtroom. Thus, the federal judges are like, no, we just don't want to have none of this kind of problems. And then we, because we want to hopefully move up to where there's audio, where we can hear the court hearing going on, versus and see, have audio and visual reports on the stand. But if y'all are going to be cutting up and doxing witnesses, particularly when they say in court that this person is under a pseudonym and doesn't want their names and stuff to be out there, this is why they have anonymity. And you have to just respect it. You may not like it, but respect it. Come on, people. Y'all are doing way too much out here. And then we can't get the information because, again, you all are so concerned about these clicks and views and being first that you all are messing it up for everybody else. Now, I've gotten that out of the way, because apparently there's at least three YouTubers that will no longer be able to be in the courtroom. Who those three YouTubers are, we won't know till tomorrow, to when they go up to the courtroom and they're like, absolutely, positively not. That's why when you watch other YouTubers, when you watch the journalists, they make sure that they're using a pseudonym, but they're not out here using that woman's name. As far as we know, her name is Mia. Because if they're, because you don't realize how your actions have consequences. But anyway, then they say in the courtroom, they said some woman was showing out, talking about Diddy, these MFers are laughing at you. They said she had been seated, but got up to walk to the door when she raised her voice, saying that people were lying. So I don't know if this was a stunt by Todd to bring us the BS. I don't know. But apparently she has been seen around the courtroom. But today she's been cutting up. They didn't say who she was or what she was, but they escorted her tail clean on out of there. But anyway, we're going to go over the information that we have it. I will be using Inner City Press. I will be using CNN. I will be using NBC. And I will be using the Washington Post. That's something new that we're going to be able to do, because I like to have as much information as possible. I've watched a couple of YouTubers at this point talk about it. And from what I see, everyone is talking about, now we're getting into the paperwork evidence, the paperwork evidence. So let's go ahead and let's start. We are going to start, let's see. I just want to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I heart everything. All right, so let me share my screen. Let me get to the one that I want to. Do we want this one? Trying to see if that works. Give me a second. I'm just trying to see what works better. All right, we'll let that sit right there for now. All right, here we go. Judge, is Ms. Garcia competent to testify about this video given his position in hotel security? Prosecution Steiner, I have not really asked him about that aspect. Judge, we are not using the correct cell phone video, so this could get in under the rules. Defense, Garagos, the way the video is cut, it makes it appears that Mr. Combs came right after Ms. Ventura, and he did, and she did, but I think he meant he did. Prosecution Steiner, I'd like to address the time steps on security videos. They are routinely inaccurate. Judge, the defense concern could be allayed by inserting breaks between the clips. Prosecution, since they will be testifying, it's hard for them to be editing the clips at the same time. We don't think it's misleading. Judge, the defense can cross-examine on this. Prosecution, given that the defense played the video of Mia's birthday video for Mr. Combs, we want to introduce recording of his jail calls about organizing social media celebrations of his birthday, which he views as a way to change the narrative. Interesting. Prosecution. There was someone broadcasting Mia's name just outside the courthouse in Foley Square yesterday. We'd ask, it says, from the back of the courtroom, Diddy, they're coming after you, those MFers. The judge, security officers escort that person out. Judge. So I just told you about all of that kerfluffle just a minute ago. So let's continue. The video timestamps. How long is it? If 40 minutes, it would be good at be a good 403 argument. Agnophilia. This could be easily fixed. This could be an easy fix. But the witness on this will be on the stand in 2 hours. Judge. Where does he live? New York. Prosecution. Florida. Judge. Bring in the jury. Judge. Jurors. There are some scheduling modifications, including that on June 11th. We will not start until 1 p.m. Also, June 5th from 11 to 4, and June 20th, the day after Juneteenth, we'll stop at 1 p.m. Okay, so we need to take note of that. So on June the 11th, they won't start until 1 p.m. On June 5th, they're going to go from 11 to 4. And on June 20th, they're only going to do a half a day from 1 p.m. They're going to stop at 1 p.m. So those are going to be short days. We're going to keep note of that. Let me make note of that. Put that in my put that in my notes. On the sticky pad. All right, that's there. All right, here we go. The government calls Eddie Garcia. So he comes in. Where did you work on the day in question? Garcia, the Intercontinental Hotel. I was told there was an incident involving Sean Combs. Prosecution. Do you see him here? Combs, still. We stipulate, so still we'll be doing the cross. So that's interesting. Prosecution. Let me show you a sign-in sheet for that day. Garcia. Yes, I signed that. Week ending March 10th, 2016. Prosecution. Could you monitor all the cameras? Garcia. Not all, but more than one at a time. So I'm assuming that there is a bank. You know how they have like all those different video cameras hooked up to a monitor, and it's like a bank of them things there. I'm thinking that he's monitoring those at the time. Would you be required to check the monitors? Garcia, yes. Prosecution, did you initially recognize the individual involved in this incident? Garcia, not at first, but when I looked closer, yes, it was Mr. Sean Combs. Prosecution, and did you learn who the second individual was? Garcia, yes. Miss Cassie Ventura. Prosecution, why was law enforcement not called? That's an interesting question. Very interesting question. Why weren't they called? Hey. I'm a little late, but I'm going to get through this. It shouldn't take that long, Blue. I should be on here about an hour and a half, but let's continue. And did you learn who the second individual was? Garcia, yes. Miss Cassie Ventura. Prosecution, why was law enforcement not called? Miss Ventura did not request it. Prosecution, did you review the incident report? Garcia, yes. There was an attachment that I didn't open on the computer, a video file. Prosecution, did you receive a call? Garcia, yes. From who? Garcia, Christian Coram. Now she is going to, now listen. Oh, Miss Christina, KK. She is pivotal. I don't know if they're going to call her as a prosecution witness or are they going to call her as a defense witness? But baby, she has her hand in everything because she's the executive assistant. She's the big dog up there. as far as being his assistant. So I don't know if they're gonna call her or not, the prosecution, or if the defense calls her, but she is key. She is very key because again, Ed Kaplan testified that she was the one that had the purse strings. She had his credit cards, she had his ID. So she was the one that if anything happened, Christine Coram was the one, aka KK, aka executive ex executive assistant, aka everybody would call Christina when Diddy would cut up, but she wouldn't act as far as what we see. But let's continue. Prosecution, what did she ask for? Garcia, the video. She said Mr. Combs had been intoxicated and didn't remember exactly. Defense, still. Objection. Judge, sustain. Prosecution, sidebar. So they take their little sidebar, and we're going to keep going. They're back. Prosecution, what did you tell Miss Coram? That she would have to talk to management. Prosecution, did she reach out again? Garcia, yes. I got a call from the lobby that she was there looking for me. Prosecution, what did she ask for? Garcia, the video. So now you have a bona fide employee from Combs Enterprise coming down to get this video. She's trying to get this video. This video can't be out here. She wants to make sure she had this video. Prosecution, how did you respond? Garcia, that she had to talk to management or file a subpoena. Uh-oh. 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 Prosecution, did you tell her what you saw in the video? Garcia, yes, I told her. Off the record, it's bad. Now, because I think here's where people talk about, quote unquote, these perfect witnesses, how they want these witnesses to come forth as soon as the offense happens to them. They want these witnesses, and if they don't act a certain way, if they're not the damsel in distress, and what I mean by that is if the victim doesn't have any type of sullery in, any sullying of her past, because we sit up and we try to make excuses or try to blame the victim for what happens. She should have left. She should have called. All of these different things that we have, because see, we think girlfriends can't be perfect witnesses because they are perfect victims because they are girlfriends. This is part of the relation. It's not part of a relationship for you to beat my head in the washer and dryers. That's not part of a relationship. But that's what a lot of people say. Oh, this case is not about DV. The DV is used as coercion, people. So let's continue. Did you tell her you saw the video? Yes, I told her. Off the record, it's bad. I think at that point, the Intercontinental Hotel should have sent that video to the police, because what you witnessed was an assault. The victim doesn't have to say, oh, I was assaulted. If you visually see that there is an assault, it is your duty, and particularly it is this man's duty, because he is a security guard and he is there to make sure the guests are secure. And that's his job. Because he knew that she had to file a subpoena. So that means that getting a subpoena means that you have to get the court involved. And I think, y'all, I think it's so important that that a civics class on how the law works, because there has to be a case before a subpoena is filed. Now, had the Intercontinental filed a case, because whether you knew who they were or not, you saw an assault. Oh, we just waited for the victim to respond. You didn't have to wait for her. You saw the assault. Let's continue. Did you get another call? Garcia, yes, from an NY area code. Garcia, it was Miss Coram. There go KK again, y'all. She put someone else on the phone. Who? Mr. Combs. Let me see what you're saying. Once she said that she didn't want to call the police. It doesn't matter what she wants to call the police, y'all. He saw it. He's a security guard. What if she had come back on the premises again? What if they had come back on and they may have or may not, I don't know. But what if he had popped her head through the washers and the dryers and she didn't get back up? I need y'all to be for real now. And she didn't get back up. And then when they go to court, they see that there was a previous video, this video, that showed that she was getting her head knocked between the washers and the dryers. The Intercontinental Hotel would be liable because they were supposed to punt this to the police. And who gets affected? Because you let it be you be the security guard. The Intercontinental Hotel is not going to be thinking about you. They're going to be making you lose your job. Job just gone. Mm-hmm. All right. Who? Prosecution who? Garcia, Mr. Combs. He asked, do you know who I am? Prosecution, what did you say? Garcia, I said yes. He asked for the video, said he had been intoxicated. I told him I can't give the video. How did he sound? Prosecution. Garcia, he was talking fast and stuttering. He sounded nervous. Of course he did. There was video proof that he was knocking that girl between the washers and the dryers. Did you email management? Garcia, yes. Prosecution, bring up government exhibit 7-R-149. What is this? What is it? Garcia, the email I sent. Steele, objection. Judge, overruled. So now we understand why Cassie got the money she got when she filed this lawsuit. Now we understand why she got the money, because the Intercontinental management knew that there was a video that showed that she was getting her head knocked between the washers and the dryer. And I know. Y'all said this is not a DV case, as if that makes any difference. This is not a DV case. But if you're using that violence, and let's not call it DV, let's call it what it actually is on the base, because it amazes me that if the only difference between DV and assault is the fact that I know you, I know who you are. But if I was Joe Smo on the street and I did what Diddy did, everybody would be okay. Everybody would be okay with the charges. But because it's somebody that I know, we like to downplay the charges. All right. Let's continue. Email as shown has Karam phone number on it, not redacted. It says Combs, aka P. Diddy, says he is a patron and wants to talk to you. Prosecution. Did you get more calls from Miss Coram? Garcia, yes, on my personal number. Also, so now you going around getting somebody's personal cell phone number? They personal cell phone number? KK. Girl, if you didn't think that you was knee deep in this, if you didn't think that you were knee deep in a RICO. I'm just letting you know you knee deep. All right, let's continue. That would make me nervous too. Somebody calling my personal number. Yeah, you call me at the job. What do you? Who gave you my personal number? Garcia. Miss Corin passed the phone to Mr. Combs. There he is again. She is the employee of Combs Enterprises, facilitating something that is considered to be bribery. She's facilitating because she's the one that calls first, and then he gets on the phone. Garcia, prosecution. What did he say? Garcia, that I sounded like a good guy, that he could help. Let me see what you wrote. Gotcha. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I got time today. I like I like that name. I got time today, child. Prosecute. What did he say? Garcia. That I sounded like a good guy, that he could help. Notice the wording that he's using. Oh Lord, I lost the post. Whew. I'm gonna have to stop clicking. That he could help. That something like this can ruin him. He wanted the video. He said if it got out, it would ruin his career. Of course it was, because your image was based on your public image with mainstream folk was based on take that. I'm Diddy. I'm Puffy. I'm this, I'm that. I'm Brother Love. But as your Brother Love, you popping people, putting their heads between the washers and the dryers. Garcia. I said I didn't have access to the server. He told me he believed I could make it happen. He would take care of me. What do you think he meant? Garcia. Money for the video. Give me one moment. I forgot to add my TikTok brethren. All right. If you're joining me on TikTok, we are going over the recap of the Diddy case. So let me know. All right. Garcia. I said I didn't have access to the server. He told me he believed I could make it happen. He would take care of me. Now, I want us to pay attention to that, because all of the assistants that have testified have always said he has a way of making you feel like you are the most important person in the room. He has a way of making you feel that way. So it's interesting to see how he is using his charms. Prosecution. What do you think he meant? Money for the video. Prosecution. What did you do? Garcia. Reached out to my supervisor about it. Prosecution. Who was your supervisor? Garcia. Bill Medrano. He told me he would do it for 50. Prosecution. What did you think that meant? Garcia. That he give the video for 50K. Prosecution. What did you do? Garcia. Called Christina, who put Mr. Combs on. He called me Eddie, my angel. Now, I want you to keep that Eddie, my angel in mind. All right? I want you to keep Eddie, my angel in mind. Keep Eddie, my angel in mind. The threads are broken. Let me see what happens. Uh-oh. We're having problems. Let's go back out. Let's see where that thread is at. Let's see if this is a thread. Okay, that's later on in the day. I've got to find give me one moment because I have got to find that thread. Bookmarks. Let's see if this is it. All right, so we've got to find the rest of that thread. Oh, that's too far down. Let's go to Inner City Press. What happened is that the thread broke, and I've got to find. Give me one moment. This is supposed to be Eddie Garcia. Oh, we need 6 hours ago. Let's see what this is. Because it looked like it broke. Let's see if we can see what this is. I guess we're gonna have to start here because his thread broke up, and I don't know exactly what happened. What time is it? Okay. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to start here because I don't see anything. We'll just start here. All right, because we were on Garcia's testimony with KK, and then it just stopped. Let me see what you all are saying. What are you saying? What are you saying? Get in here. She got it because they told them it was the only copy. Yeah, little did they know that Flores had a copy. Mm. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. All right, let's just read from here because, like I said, his thread broke up some kind of way. So I don't know who we're talking to. It looks like they went on a break. They brought back the jury in. Let's see. Let's read what it says. Judge, they took a break. Let's let our jury back out. I'm going to enter a stipulation into evidence. During a search at Miami Airport, law enforcement seized 2 cell phones from Christina Korm's person. Prosecution published that for the jury. It says 24 contacts, including Eddie, my angel, angel of mine, and his phone number, and Eddie, my angel, friend, intercontinental. There was also a photo of the IDs in the device. Prosecution. We're also entering the evidence records from Signature Bank. Judge, any objections? Defense, no. Prosecution. With that, the government calls Derek Ferguson. So they broke up. Let's go to CNN and see what they say. And I talked about the woman being removed. Judge bars man from courtroom after he violated a pseudonym order. A man who was in the courtroom Monday violated the pseudonym order referring to Mia, a former assistant of Sean Diddy Combs, by her real name on his YouTube channel, according to prosecutors. He was also seen recording outside the courtroom on Monday. Judge granted a request from prosecutors to bar the man from the courtroom if he returns. Who was that? Now, I had heard it was 3 people, but this says that it was just one person. Who got banned? Oh my. Let's see. Prosecutors may seek to introduce excerpts from Combs' recorded jail calls. Prosecutors said they may seek to introduce excerpts from some of Sean Diddy Combs' recorded jail calls. Attorney Smizer says the calls rebuke the defense's implication that Mia must be lying about the allegations. The defendant views his birthday and social media, The defendant views his birthday and social media around his birthday as a marketing opportunity, as an opportunity to change the narrative. Over 3 days of testimony, who used a pseudonym, Mia described PA and essay. All right, let's continue. So Eddie Garcia said that he worked with Israel Flores, who also worked in security at the Intercontinental Hotel. He said he knew Flores testified because he saw a TikTok video about it, but the two haven't discussed the substances of their testimony. He testifies under immunity order because remember, Eddie Garcia came in there yesterday saying that he was going to plead the 5th. And then what was happening is once he pleaded the 5th, the judge offered him immunity. And so those of you all that are following me on TikTok, y'all tap the screen for me. Please tap the screen to get my video pushed. I really appreciate it. Just tap the screen, tap, tap, tap. That's all it needs. Just tap the screen. I'd really appreciate it. I would love for my video to move further up in the algorithm. Former hotel security guard didn't initially recognize Combs and Ventura in the security thing. We went over that. All right. Eddie Garcia, former security guard at the Intercontinental, testified that about 90 minutes into his shift, KK called the security guest, identifying herself as Sean Diddy Combs' personal assistant. She asked Garcia if he was familiar about an incident that occurred earlier that day. Combs then asked if there was any possible way to get a copy of the video or see the video. Garcia testified that Combs said that she wanted the video because Mr. Combs had been intoxicated and he didn't remember. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Again, those of you all that are joining in TikTok, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Excuse me, tap the screen. She said if there was any way possible to get a copy or see the video. Garcia testified that Quorum says she wanted the video and didn't remember. Judge Subramanian sustained an objection to the testimony before Garcia could elaborate on what Combs didn't remember. The lawyers at a sidebar with the judge, and that's where we messed up. Combs' chief of staff pressed for incident video, was told off the record is bad, and we discussed that. Eddie Garcia told KK that she needed to reach out to hotel management, or she needed to get a subpoena. Or she needed to get a subpoena. Let's see if that works. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's put you back on. Well. All right. All right. Eddie Garcia, a former security guard officer at the Intercontinental Hotel, called Christina Quorum, Sean Diddy's former chief of staff. So she no longer works there. They're using the word former. When he arrived in the lobby of the high-rise building. A man who identified, so they met. A man who identified himself as Combs, security guard brought Garcia up to a room on a higher floor. Combs was happy when he got there, Garcia said. He was smiling, excited, just looked happy. Combs referred to him as Eddie, my angel, and then Christina had him saved in the phone as Eddie, my angel. Combs welcomed Garcia. He said, I believe he was making me feel comfortable. Garcia testified. At the time, I was very nervous and my voice kept cracking. Eddie Garcia testified that he called his boss to tell him Sean Diddy Combs was willing to pay to obtain a copy of the security video. Garcia's boss said he would do it for $50K. Garcia called Christina Quorum back and she gave the phones to him. When Garcia said he can get the video for $50, Combs said, Eddie, my angel, I knew you could help. Garcia testified that Diddy wanted to have the only copy. Garcia added that Combs then left the room for a few minutes without explaining why. When Combs returned, he asked if that was the only copy of the video. Garcia said he believed so. He said it had to be the only copy, and he didn't want it to get out. And if it would get out, and if I was sure nothing was on the cloud, Garcia said. Garcia said he then contacted his boss, who confirmed it was the only copy and that he had removed it from the server. Garcia told Combs that, and then said he was concerned if the Ventura filed a police report about the incident later, it could affect him. He said, I didn't have to worry about that she knew about it and she wanted the video gone too. But little did they know that Flores, Flores had his own copy of the doggone video. All right, so let's see. Diddy made him sign the NDA. He says, I signed Combs' NDA without reading. Agreement threatened $1 million penalty for the breach. And you all know that you can't breach an NDA if you're testifying in court. So that was null and void once you come to court. Let's read this paragraph. Eddie Garcia, a former security officer at the Intercontinental Hotel, testified that he did not read the documents carefully before signing, and he did not receive any copy. I was nervous. I was in a rush to get out of there, he said. One part of the agreement read aloud in the court stating, recipient understands that Combs is a highly prominent recording artist, entertainer, and entrepreneur, and his privacy and the confidentiality of the confidential information is of material concern. Another line from the agreement says, accordingly, without limitation of company and or Combs' rights as they relate to injunctive relief detailed above, recipient agrees to pay company the sum of $1 million as liquidated damages in the event of a breach of this agreement. Garcia testified that he was earning about $10.50 an hour as a security guard at the time. Trial of mess. Ex-hotel guard Combs counted out $100,000 after the NDA was signed, and he split the cash with his colleagues. Garcia testified that he had previously told him that his boss would do it for $50, so Garcia assumed that the other $50 Combs counted was for Garcia, and who Combs thought was Israel Flores, the responding officer. Garcia testified that the security guard Garcia testified that the security guard was present while Combs counted the money and recalled that Christina Quorum, Sean Diddy Combs' former chief of staff, was in and out of the room, so she probably saw the money being counted. After Combs finished counting the money, he asked Garcia if he wanted to count it himself. Garcia declined and told Combs he trusted the machine. When Garcia stood up to leave, Combs said he'd walk him out, which Garcia testified made him nervous. Combs walked down to the lobby with Garcia and requested both of their cars. Combs asked Garcia how was he planning to spend the money and suggested Garcia not make any big purchases. Garcia called Bill Mondrano, his boss, from the car while watching to see that he wasn't being followed. He split the money with his boss and the other officer on duty at the time of the incident, Henry Elias, not Flores. Shout out to Israel Flores. Garcia testified that he gave $50 to Madrano and $20 to the Elias. He said he bought a used car in cash with the $30,000 he kept for himself. He said he did not deposit any of the money into a bank account or report it on his taxes. Oh, Lord, they about to get you, baby. They about to get you. Garcia said about a week or two later, he noticed the incident report and attached security footage were no longer on the security computer. He said he did not report it to anyone because that would draw more attention to the situation. Baby. And these are the pictures of the folks that have taken the stand so far. We got Cassie, we got Capricorn Clark, we got Dawn. I think this is Kid Cudi. That is Deontay. That's Mia. I don't know who these other two people are, child. All right, so let's get into this afternoon work. Prosecution. We're also entering to evidence records from Signature Bank. Judge, any objection? Defense, no. With that, government calls Derek Ferguson. And they asked Derek Ferguson, how do you know Mr. Combs? Ferguson, I worked with him from 1998 to 2017. What was your role? He was Ferguson, CFO, so that's Chief Finance Officer. All right. Prosecution. How were your bonuses determined? Ferguson, company results and my performance. Prosecution. Were you responsible for managing Mr. Combs' personal finances? Ferguson. Yes, at times during my tenure. We got the money man, y'all. Money. Oh, money. This was the loophole. Diddy never spoke of money. The manager did. Interesting. It's two things Eddie said that happened that Diddy happened. Happened. Diddy, one is one of the managers spoke on money, and when Cassie said she wanted to get rid of it too because she had a movie coming out, and that may be true. But please let us remember, he was asking to make it go away. He asked for a figure, they gave him a figure. So they made a transaction. So that's interesting. And see again, and I will stipulate to that because again, we don't have the defense's objections of anything at this point. I'm not reading any of that. Let me go here. I'm trying to see. Combs presented hotel security with $100,000. Reading from NBC. Hotel security with $100,000 in a brown paper bag. Oh, so he responded to him for Easter, y'all. Listen to this. Combs had kind words for the security guard who was making sure the damaging footage was disposed of, Garcia testified. On Easter, he said, "Happy Easter, my angel. God is good." Why is y'all bringing God into all of this? And then proceeded to ask if anyone had asked about the incident or the video. Garcia testified about the March 2016 beating. I said I hadn't heard anything, and he said, okay. Garcia said later he asked Combs about employment possibility with the defendant's company. It's not immediately clear if Combs answered. You know he wasn't going to be worried about you. When police began asking about the March 2016 assault at the Intercontinental Hotel, Garcia said he wasn't initially honest with investigators. Garcia testified that he was contacted by law enforcement and wasn't truthful about his involvement at first. I'm going to change my earphones. Give me one moment. The ones I have is hurting my ear. All right. All right. Can you hear? Okay, I can hear. Let's go. Garcia testified that he was contacted by law enforcement and wasn't truthful about his involvement at first. He later got his own attorney and met with the government where he said he was more forthcoming. Okay, here we go. We've got the defense who's cross-examining him. Defense attorney Brian Steele briefly examined Garcia, pointing out a line in the NDA that said Garcia was not prevented from speaking about the 2016 assault in legal proceedings. This was presumably intended to undermine the government's potential obstruction of justice, one of the predicate crimes that fall under racketeering. Prosecutors quickly took up took up on a redirect, however, showing that the NDA requires written notice to the company in those cases. It says that this would allow the company to seek options to prevent disclosure. Garcia testified on redirect that he understood the company to be Combs' company. So now we are here about Derek Ferguson. All right, so prosecution. Were you responsible for managing Mr. Combs's personal finances? Yes, during my tenure. Prosecution. Who was your supervisor? Ferguson. Sometimes to Mr. Combs himself, so they didn't say who that was. How often did you interact with Mr. Combs? Ferguson. A couple of times a week. He later became more of a chairman. Prosecution. How did you communicate with him? Ferguson. Back then, pagers. You Gen Zers don't know nothing about no pagers. You don't know nothing about putting 911 in the pager so them folks to call you back. I love y'all. I do. I'm just saying. Remember those sky pagers? Prosecution. Who is this? Uncle Polly's photo shown. Ferguson, Paul. Prosecution. And these individuals? Ferguson, Roger Bonds, and D-Rock. They were security. Prosecution. Was Mr. Combs the sole owner? Ferguson, yes, 100% of Bad Boy Productions and film. Prosecution, what was his role? Ferguson, creative and marketing. Prosecution, did some ventures have partners? Ferguson, Bad Boy Records with Arista, also with Warner. Sean John Clothing had a partner. Prosecution, what were their profits? Ferguson, very profitable. Prosecution, how was Mr. Combs paid? Ferguson, sometimes salary, sometimes distribution from the companies. Prosecution, what is a distribution? Ferguson, if solely owned or passed through like S Corp, like S Corp, the owner determines to draw down. Prosecution, I don't understand it. Did each have a bank account? Mr. Ferguson, yes. Prosecution, could you sign on the accounts? Ferguson, yes. Which banks did Combs companies use? Ferguson, Citibank, HSBC, and Signature Bank. What is this one? Ferguson, Janice Combs Music Industry. It furnished his name and likeness. Oh, so he done put something in his mama name. Let me see. I have to make sure I highlighted this. He put something in his mama's name. Of course. Janice Combs Music Incorporated. Who was Janice Combs? She just had her business because anyway, let me hush. Prosecution. Mr. Ferguson, are these your initials in section 4? Ferguson, yes. It was 9/29/2009. Prosecution, is this also a business checking account? Ferguson, yes. And this one, Ferguson, with Diageo about Ciroc. Prosecution, how was this account funded? Ferguson, inflows. So for you finance people, what are inflows? Prosecution, what about credit cards? Ferguson, primarily American expense reimbursement. Did Mr. Combs have an Amex? Ferguson, yes. Prosecution, did he use it for personal as well as professional? Ferguson, yes. And the companies paid? Ferguson, yes. How was outgoing cash handled? Ferguson, we had a petty cash account and cash advances. For example, for those traveling who did not have an American Express card. Prosecution, when Mr. Combs was paid cash, how did it work? We'd match it if a contract. Prosecution, were you aware of Mr. Combs' security staff carrying cash for him? Ferguson, I was not aware of that. Prosecution, and when you were responsible for his personal finances, what did you do? Budget for the year. Prosecution, properties, inflow and outflows. What properties did he own? Ferguson, the Hamptons, New York, Miami. They were held in LCCs for an anonymity and liability reduction and tax benefits. Prosecution. Did you oversee other personal accounts of Mr. Combs? Ferguson, yes. Prosecution. Were you aware of him supporting other people? Yes, from his personal earnings. Your Honor, this might be a good place for us to take a break. Judge, how much more with this witness? Prosecution, 20 minutes, we think, and Jane Doe starting late tomorrow, we expect. 2 days for her cross-examination. Judge, only Mr. Ferguson today? Prosecution, yes. And if Mr. Agnew cross goes long, may we stay late? Okay. So they take a break. All right, they're back before the jury is let in. Let's see. Combs' least used lawyer, Jason Driscoll. This exhibit is full of hearsay. Judge, I have the gist. Ms. Foster, are you saying none of this for the truth or for matter or the matter asserted? Foster, yes. This is not excludable hearsay. The objection is overruled. How are we doing on the compilation video? Defense, we still object. Judge, but the compilation is put together? Yes. We would like some material to be taken down and other relief. Judge, bring the witness back. Prosecution. Mr. Ferguson, before the break, we were discussing these bank records. What is 207 Anderson LLC? Ferguson, Mr. Combs' property in Alpine, New Jersey. Prosecution, what is the mailing address? 1710 B Way. Prosecution, what are these internal transfers? Ferguson, 190,000, 575,000, and $100,000 in December 2011. Prosecution, who decided whether to initiate an internal transfer? Ferguson, usually the comptroller. Prosecution, do you remember these? Ferguson, no. Prosecution, and this outward transfer, to whom did it go? Ferguson, Cassandra Ventura. Prosecution, for how much? Ferguson, $20,000. And this one coming in? Ferguson, Roderick Ventura, for $20,000. You remember this was a transaction that Cassie's mother testified because he was stating that they needed to pay the $20,000 for all the money that he spent on Cassie when he found out that she was talking to or slightly dating Kitty Cuddy. Prosecution. When did you leave the CFO position? Ferguson, end of 2012. Then Chief Growth Officer, the Revolt Media and TV. Prosecution. After you left, how often did you communicate with Mr. Combs? Ferguson, he texted me in 2024. I don't remember the day. Prosecution, let me show you. Ferguson, I see. Prosecution, nothing further. Mr. Agnifilio, you grew up in the Bronx. Where did you go to high school? Ferguson, is it Stuyvesant? Agnifilio, where did you go to business school? Ferguson, Harvard MBA, 1990. Agnifilio, then BMG Music Group? Ferguson, yes. They owned over 100 music labels worldwide. They owned Arista, 50% of Bad Boy at a certain period of time. Agnifilio, could Mr. Combs then do whatever he wanted? No, there were Arista agreements. Ferguson, coming from the Bronx, I thought he needed more companies that would hire people from the community. I saw that in Sean Combs. I thought it was a chance to have an impact. Agnifilio, what was the onboarding? Ferguson, interview, met someone at Arista. Ferguson, I met Benny Medina and some others. Agnifilio, so you didn't just meet Mr. Combs and get the job? Ferguson, no. How did Bad Boy change from 1999 to 2012? It added other businesses. Records were getting competitive. Agnophilia. Do you remember Notorious LLC? Ferguson. It was called it was a magazine called Notorious. Agnophilia. Bad Boy Records was established in 1993. Ferguson. I think it was 96. Agnophilia. Did Bad Boy have connections to Interscope? Yes, and UMG and Rhino. Who is Andre Farrell? He founded Uptown Records, went to Motown, then back to Bad Boy. What was the spirit business called? Eventually, it was called Combs Wine and Spirits. I was involved in the start with Diageo. What issues arose with Diageo? Prosecution, objection. Agnophilia. Was there differences about how to market? Ferguson. There are always differences of opinion. We had conversations. How do we drive it more? Was the brand everywhere like competitors? Hit the wrong button. So they have a sidebar. Were you concerned that Diageo was marketing Ciroc primarily in certain areas to certain people? Ferguson, my opinion. Sorry, y'all. Trying to get this. On your personal knowledge. The distribution was highly concentrated. The question was why. Diageo was marketing it more in urban areas than more broadly. Agnophilia, okay. What about Revolt? It was owned by Highbridge Capital Management, which was purchased by JP Morgan Chase. Ferguson, I think so. Highbridge had 2 seats. Yes, 2 of the 5 seats on Revolt. What were you at Revolt? He said he was the chief operating officer. What did that entail? Finance and production. Agnophilia. And Sean Combs wasn't in the management, right? He was not. Let's look at Defense Exhibit 1901 about Combs Enterprise. Let's put it up. Here you have James Cruz, and you remember James Cruz because James Cruz was acting as Cassie's manager, and he was the one that was telling her. He was the one telling her that if she didn't call Diddy back, there was going to be some problems. Interesting. An HR officer after Vashta Wilson, Andre Harrell, and yourself, Ferguson. This is the team. What is digital? Your pause says enough. Personal versus business expenses. What's your accounting background? Ferguson, I was a CPA for a time. You never saw Mr. Combs sitting reviewing his Amex bill? No. When there was a partnership with another company, they would look at the books as well? Yes. Many high-profile people have personal assistants, yes? Ferguson, they do. Security was part of the business? Yes. Security's job was to be in close proximity with Mr. Combs so that no one would do something dangerous to him? Right. Let's talk about cash. What was the cash receipt form when it was used? Ferguson, for example, touring, Agnophilia sidebar. Judge, yes. So they have another sidebar. At least they're not having like 50, 11 of them like they did yesterday. Did you see anybody help Sean Combs commit crimes? Ferguson, no. Do you see anybody make the company stronger through coercion? Ferguson, can you explain that one? What do you mean by coercion? Agnophilia, fair enough. Through sexual abuse or trafficking? No. You were there 19 years. How hard was it? Ferguson, building from scratch, long hours. Did you send Mr. Combs a text in November 2017? Ferguson, I don't. I'll show you. Did you tell Mr. Combs you learned so much from him? Yes. He pushed the entire team. He had passion. Agnophilia, are you a religious man? Objection, sustained. You're on the board of his charter school? Ferguson, yes. I heard his charter school was doing well at one point. I don't know anything, that was back in the day. I don't know anything about it at this point because you remember like him and LeBron, and there was another person they were pushing charters, certain charter schools. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Diddy's charter school for boys only? Let's continue. The school tries to work with at-risk children. Prosecution object 403. Judge sustained. Let's move on. Agnophilia, do you think highly of Mr. Combs? Ferguson, I don't know how to respond to that. Sidebar. Nothing further. Redirect. Was Revolt Films entirely separated from Revolt TV? Ferguson, yes. Who was the head of Revolt Films? Ferguson, I don't know. Did you ever stay in a hotel room with Mr. Combs? That would have been risky. Ferguson, no. On this organization chart, who is this chairman? Ferguson, Sean Combs. Prosecution, and you see Christine Coram here? Ferguson, yes. Do you see the name Mia? Ferguson, development and acquisitions. Nothing further. Recross. You didn't go to his home or hotel because that's his personal life, right? Prosecution, objection. Judge, sustained. Agnophilia, nothing further. So that was the end of the day. So we're having Jane, who is a pseudonym, who's another pseudonym that's coming tomorrow. Let's see what the different publications say about Jane. Oh, it's getting sticky. It's getting sticky. Let me share this. The true name and identity of key prosecution witness Mia are being reported, according to prosecutors who want to ban the outlet that made the information public from court. The judge asked prosecutors to draft a possible court order, and he'd consider it. Prosecutors show financial records from the Combs bank account, including a $20,000 wire from Ventura's father, December 23, 2011. Now you remember, this was during the time that she was with Kid Cudi. And Sean Diddy Combs called her parents in a tizzy, saying that Cassie owes him $20,000, for all the money that he has spent in his expenses for the stuff paid. So they went and got a loan from the bank, and they sent him $20,000. And I think at that point, with him having all of these businesses, people are going to be questioning this $20,000 that he got from the Ventura. And then they said that he demanded that money to keep, here we go. Ventura's mother, Regina, previously testified that Combs demanded the family pay $20,000 to keep him from releasing the explicit videos of Ventura after he learned that she was seeing rapper Kid Cudi. She also told the court she received the money back days later. So they put those things. Prosecutors pointed out that two other 20,000 transfers that same month while questioning Combs' former CFO. The first was an outgoing transfer to Ventura on December 14, 2011, and another unspecified entity on 2020 on December 27. So they're talking about all these funds. Amid questioning from Agnophilia, Ferguson said Combs' personal and business expenses were kept separate and that tax records were closely monitored. I would do everything I could to make sure make sure financial impropriety did not happen. Combs' former chief financial officer said he doesn't know of any specific crimes his ex-boss might have contributed, and he possibly wouldn't because he wasn't there at the FOs. But he was keeping good track of this money though. Because they were really just trying to make sure that they got that let's see. So they're going through his business accounts. Let's see what the Washington Post. And I think too, I heard that the judge had allowed for um, Diddy and his team to stay in the courtroom or stay at the courthouse so they can go over the information in regards to go over this testimony. So we will see. It wasn't a busy day. Look at that. I got finished under an hour and a half. So it's going to be great. I may start on time with the court tomorrow. And so what we'll do is if there's any videos or anything that I need to show before we do that, I'm definitely going to do that because I'm interested to see who this Jane person is. I'm not familiar with who she is. She's someone overseas. I am really interested to see who this particular person was because from what I understand, she has a story like Cassie. So we will see. Mia was one incident where the prosecution is trying to show that he treated his women employees this way because you know when you listen to David, was it Daniel? It was David and it was Daniel James and Ed Kaplan. He treated them different than he did treat the women that worked for him. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jane is bringing to the table. What do you all think? Are you all looking forward to seeing Jane? Let me know that in the comments. All right, people, if y'all don't have any questions, let me know if you have any questions. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. I probably will start 11 Central Standard Time, 12 Eastern Standard Time, because I want to be on the pulse of everything that's coming out. So we may have some breaks and some lulls tomorrow, but I am very interested to see what's going on with Miss Mia. Or not Mia. I'm interested to see what's going on with Jane Doe. And I'm also interested to know who was the blogger that got who was the blogger that got booted from the courtroom. I'm going to try to find that information out and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. All right, people. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye bye.